All right, let's start off with our first big story now. January is generally perceived as a low cash month. As a matter of fact, some refer to it as the longest month. Now, this is because full economic activities and government spending has yet to fully begin.
Residents of the Nigerian capital, Abuja, have no alternative than bearing this tough situation, which is accompanied by a rise in costs in commodities. Lara Folayan reports that Abuja residents are not smiling and they are hoping for better times this year.
A typical January market day in Abuja. Traders sit idly in their shops waiting for customers that may never come. The traders say business has been bad and the present economic situation is not helping matters.
Like oil now is going to 800 naira, 700. If you tell customers some verse and leave the market and go, say it's costly.
But later they go buy small. This place where they buy two, you can buy one.
There's no market, there's no money. So we don't know what to do.
How has it been affecting your business?
Seriously, the thing is affecting me. Sometimes I will not sell my food finish.
The buyers also complain of the rise in the prices of commodities. Their low purchasing power makes the situation even more frustrating.
Something of 1 kilo, 800 naira, now is 1,200 naira. So the price is too high.
Please, I want to advise all Nigeria to join hands and talk about this issue of rising of prices.
When you just enter market today, when you come back tomorrow, the thing will increase like double. So the thing is affecting all the people. And you know, they didn't even increase the salary. So what we are even collecting will not be even enough.
Both the sellers and the buyers appealed to the authorities to help end the masses suffering.
At least reduce these things. Even though they don't want to even do anything, at least they should reduce, especially this new year. No money, so please, we're asking them to help us so that we can reduce this thing.
Government to open some borders so that everything, we touch everything, all of us.
It's affecting some people. You see some people who wake up, they don't even know what to do. They don't even the small one that they have, they don't even know how to manage it and take it and use it the way they want to use it. You know, if it is before, you know, when you have 500 naira or 1,000 naira, you can even manage it for 1 week.
Let them look into the situation. People are crying, there's hunger everywhere.
Recent data released by the National Bureau of Statistics shows that inflation rose from 18.4% in November to 18.5% in December 2016. The Bureau says the rise was lower than forecast, following steps taken by the monetary authorities to moderate the persistent rise in prices of imports. But the seeming narrow rise in inflation is of no business to the common man, as all that matters to him is the affordability of goods and services. Lara Folayan, TBC News, Abuja.
Inflation, recession, deflation, depression, all of these words seem to describe Nigeria's economy today. Hopefully, in the course of our discussion, guests will be able to direct us, especially government, on exactly how Nigeria can get out of this recession so that people's purchasing power will look up instead of looking down.
Just staying with this Abuja, even before recession, cost of living in Abuja was very high.
Absolutely.
Because I lived in Abuja for more than 10 years, so I know what I'm talking about. Now put that now with what you have. That means people in Abuja are really reeling under this hardship, really. And
it's not just people in Abuja, all across the country. All right, at this point, let's bring in our guest who is the head of research, GDL Asset Management Limited, Oluwashino Olubu. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thanks very much for having me.
I wonder which aspect of the economy has not been affected by the lack of purchasing power, whether you're talking about travel, where we now hear that Nigerians, especially aviation travel, are not, they're looking for alternatives and all of that. Now, talk to us about what has really brought Nigeria to this point. Maybe we need a reminder.
Thank you very much once again. It's unfortunate that we have a lot of things to battle this time in our life as a nation. So much that sometimes you don't even know. It's a case of paradox between chicken and egg. You're trying to say, okay, what's the source of this? The truth of the matter is economy comes in as it's in cobweb. So that's why we do cobweb analysis in economics.
Okay.
Cobweb in the sense that a lot of variables in the economy are interlinked. That if you tweak a part of the economy, it could have ripple effects in even places that you never imagined it could have had effect. If I'm not mistaken, I think that the bedrock of this problem is the challenge we are having with FX that has led to a lot of other issues. The challenge with
because
FX,
we are import dependent?
We are import dependent. Now, the fact that we have issues with FX has led to the challenges we're having with trying to import refined oil products. That was why the government had to submit to having to deregulate the market, because the government could no longer fund the subsidy that they were giving, because as prices increase on account of FX and the marketers could no longer get dollars at the official rate, and it is what they sell, like the market people would say, what they buy that they will sell. So there was a need to increase the price, the pump price. And when you increase the pump price, because a lot of things are related to be it diesel or PMS or kerosene, is going to affect a whole lot of other things. That is one end. The other end of it is the FX issue also affected the rate at which importers have been able to import raw materials. And once you have issues with importing raw materials, it's going to affect your production ultimately. The last leg I'd like to mention is the area of trade. People who buy things and to sell, they too have been affected because they have had to buy FX
when we come back, quite a lot of issues. One is the purchasing power parity when you're talking about the trade, for instance. Then of course the issue of importation. We look at the CBN policy and trying to mitigating that as per the manufacturing sector. Maybe that has helped a lot. You will tell us right after this break.
Absolutely. And at this point we're going out on TVC Entertainment, but viewers there can continue with TVC Breakfast on TVC Nigeria on Concert Channel 190, DSTV 418.
Go TV, it is 45, AC TV, it is 510. Shino is here. A lot you want to learn this morning, so stay with us. Okay, so we'll take the story before we continue our discussion, but our guest is very much in the studio. Shino Olubo is here, who is a financial analyst. Nigerians have continued to lament the continuous increase in price of food items, which is causing untold hardship in most households.
And Jokeli Jadu took a market survey and now reports.
The last couple of months have been described by Nigerians as tedious. The high cost price of food items have placed a burden on most households in the country. A visit to Ketu Market in Lagos provides a glimpse into the hardship faced by many. Nothing is cheap, even as traders and buyers struggle to achieve a decent bargain. Yet, it's still the same song of lamentation.
Like before, we are buying a plantain, 1 dozen, 4,000 naira, 3,000 naira. But now, they are selling it for us now, 6,000, 7,000. Before you go cook rice, if you don't have kerosene, 300, or beans, you can't buy it. More than 300, we can't cook for house. We go give our children 50, 100 naira. Our children, they will not satisfy at all.
Anima Shaun has been selling plantain for more than a decade. He tries to argue with a buyer for a satisfactory price, but both have not been able to come to a compromise.
This is becoming the first time I've been having this type of experience, because when I was young, things are so easy. So I'm even thinking of how our own son will manage to survive, because when we that are their father are even suffering like this and they are still small.
price of commodities as compared to last year been on the geometric rise. A pint bucket of gari that sold for 300 naira is now 600 naira. 5 liters of palm oil which sold for 1,200 naira, now 4,000 naira. A derica of beans, previously 150 naira, is now 300 naira. The list is endless. Sellers attribute the rise in price to the increase in foreign exchange.
Usually I come down, market could come down.
They cannot cope because they are complaining that the salary when the thing was 200, maybe they are paying them 10,000. Now it's 500, they are still paying them 10,000. They cannot cope. So we are facing it hard. Even we that is selling, we cannot say we are stranded. We don't know what to do.
Food is an essential commodity in the existence of man. But the current recession has made feeding in Nigeria a difficult task. From gari to pepper, meat, fish, Nigerians say the prices have increased and they are pleading with government to create an environment for them to feed.
Our Buhari to help us. We are just ordinary people. We don't even know where to go. We don't have a place to go. That whether we are to die, we don't know. Our governor, they should help us, because everything is too hard.
Many are expectant that the present gloom in market price will fast become history. Joke Elijado, TVC News, Lagos.
Well, now more than ever, Nigerians have to look for more creative ways to find alternatives to what we already were used to. You were asking me about milk earlier, and I told you, well, I've had to just, switch to coconut, blend my coconut and make milk out of it.
Good for you.
All right, but our guest in the studio right here is Shina Olubu. He's a financial analyst and heard research, GDL Asset Management Limited. Well, you heard Nigerians there. One of the respondents there said if Forex comes down, the price of foodstuff will come down. And the ordinary man on the street will be wondering, what has Forex got to do with the price of tomatoes, pepper, palm oil, beans, and all of that?
Well, that's the rational thing that's what readily comes to mind when a market woman complains of the rising costs of FX, if you like to say. Two things I would say. One, some of these products are not produced in Nigeria. The inflation rates figure released for December says that the reason for the high rate of inflation was it came in at 18.55.
Yes.
And the reason for that was food, predominantly bread, cereal, vegetable, and most of the cereal that we consume, beverages are imported. So as long as they are imported, and somebody who is supposed to somebody who is supposed to import them would need FX. The FX has been oscillating between 480 and 500. I mean, going by the parallel market rate. So, and whatever it is that you are buying is what you're going to sell. You're going to pass on the cost to the consumers. So, that's one. The second leg to it is that it is the same market that market women ply. Sorry, the other people ply, that the market women too will ply. So, if I attribute rising costs of energy, by energy I mean diesel, PMS to FX.
And now we hear that PMS landing cost is it's 145, and we may be talking about subsidy again.
So, and if the market woman you refer to would have to, the same fuel that you buy is what she buys, the same thing that any other person buys. So it is fair for her to link whatever she's selling to Forex. Because by the time she's done selling, she's going to the same market that you and I will go to buy either cereal or demand for petrol, demand for kerosene, which nobody will say that is because she sells what is from the which was basically farm produce. That's how. So it's like I mentioned to you, an economy is a cobweb, interlinked, and whatever happens in one sector has a way of affecting the other sector.
Okay,
that's how it
still
works.
have more stories to take. 2016 can be rated as one of the most difficult years for many Nigerians, economically
The dwindling purchasing power of many persons became even more obvious in the last Yuletide season. But how well are Nigerians resident in Rivers State faring a few weeks into the new year?
A recent market survey reveals that the prices of almost every item on sale has continued to increase.
A lot of foodstuffs prices have gone up. A lot of foodstuffs have gone up a little.
Before you buy rice, 12,000 naira per bags, but right now has gone up to 24,000, 25,000 naira per bags. And people in Nigeria are suffering.
The common food we eat, bread today, common bread we eat today, from 250 now down to 350. Some even 300 down to 500 naira. I think it's really alarming.
Initially, the cost of palm oil, 75 cl bottle. Not this ever small bottle. I think was 250. From 250, it went to 300. Like that till now, they are selling 700, 750. As at last month, it was 800 naira.
There's a saying that when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. But even in these tough financial times, most persons have been forced to tighten up their belts in order to survive.
Like me now, if I'm going to work, normally I used to enter motor to so junction to this junction, but now I have to trek out before I can enter cab to where I'm going. If I don't do like that, I won't be able to meet up.
You need to cut down your costs. That's the only way you can manage it.
Lower quality of goods were being bought to supplement the higher quality, because you now go to the market, you see that those things that you are supposed to buy at a very affordable price are no longer affordable.
You're working on what you can use to survive, what you can purchase to survive. You don't have enough money to get these things. I think it's really making the economy, it's really making us to be depressed.
Residents of Rivers State have also suggested different measures to tackle the economic challenges.
One practical step is for salaries to be paid promptly. No matter how small the salary is, it should be paid promptly when salaries are not being owed.
The economy, I think our president should try and do something about that, about this economy.
Despite the current harsh economic realities, many persons are optimistic that the financial burden on them this year will gradually become lighter as the year's national budget is implemented. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
Okay, Shino, you just listened to that report, but let's take the discussion a bit. Some technical aspect of it, you were talking about the trade initially, and I want you to explain how purchasing power parity comes to play. The global world or the global market phenomenon, of course, is going to have some ripple effect on commodities in Nigeria.
Yes, first of all, when you, the fundamentals of any economy is what will tell how strong the currency is going to be. What's happening in Nigeria right now is expected. When we're selling oil for as high as, say, over $100 per barrel, we didn't have this issue. One, because we had enough Forex to defend the Naira. As much Forex as was needed was supplied to whoever was importing. And that was, in a way, that was what spoiled us too, I must admit. The second thing is, even the foreign investors are supposed to bring in their funds and invest. What they normally do is to dissect the economy and see how fundamentally strong the economy is. And what they look at is the sovereign strength of the economy, which hinges on the source of income of the economy. So when we didn't have issues with oil, we didn't have these issues with foreign exchange.
Excess crude account.
Excess crude account was healthy, so we could give as much as we wanted. So there was no issue with FX. So the FX issue is actually a reflection of how strong or weak, as the case may be, the economy is. So now that we have seen the true picture of FX issue, we are only seeing the effect in other sectors of the economy.
The global aspect of all of this obviously exposed Nigeria's weakness or lack of preparation.
Yes,
and all of that.
Yes.
Okay, we'll take a very quick break and return and talk about this very shortly. All right, you're welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's TVC Breakfast, and we're looking at the high cost of food and commodities in Nigeria. Our guest is Shino Olubu. He's a financial analyst and head research GDL Asset Management. And now let's look at some of the government policies that were put in place last year, whether it's the restriction of Forex, 41 items, pegging the naira and then unpegging it and all of that. And people have actually said that many government policies have been anti-people, including the latest one about not allowing vehicles to be imported through land borders, and so many examples that one could cite. How have these led to where we are now?
That's asking me. Let me start somewhere. The general opinion in the market, when I say market, I mean the capital market, financial market, if I would say, is that we had a lot of policy somersault in year 2016, where you say that you are going to deregulate, you say again that you're not going to deregulate. And what investors want to see is they want to see stability. The market, when I say market, I mean the capital market, financial market, if I would say, is that we had a lot of policy somersault in year 2016, where you say that you are going to deregulate, you say again that you're not going to deregulate. And what investors want to see is they want to see stability. I want to know that, okay, the problem with an investor is not whether or not you want to deregulate. It wants to know that when you say you are deregulating, you stay deregulated for a period, so that he does his analysis and knows, and he has a fair idea of where the market will be in the next, say, 6 months, a year or two.
So he can make his projections.
So that he can make his projections and make his informed decision. Just so he doesn't make a decision based on the fact that the market is regulated, and then you come back to say that the market is no longer deregulated. That is so, because of the fact that we had several policy pronouncements, because that presupposed that the government could not walk the talk, they could not get the confidence of the investor, and the money, the funds were supposed to get, the FS were supposed to get from hot monies, because normally the monies are coming to foreign reserve usually basically from two sources. Apart from oil, we also get money from hot money, what we call FPIs, foreign portfolio investments. So, but before you can get foreign portfolio investment, there should be a level of confidence in the market by people who are bringing in the money. That is on the side of FX. Now, weighing on for the confidence, the CBN, in fairness to CBN, has done some things that I think should boost that space in terms of coming up with forward rates, allowing people to buy forward contracts. Because what forward contract does to you is that you are able to hedge against fluctuations in the currency. So by the time you enter a forward contract, you are sure that your settlement, you are sure of your settlement price. You are not open to the uncertainty of the market because of that. Ideally, that should boost confidence. But because of the confidence deficit that has been had, it's been difficult to get the foreign investors to come back into the market again. That's for that.
Well, the finance minister, Kemi Adeosun, actually says, she said it recently, that government has identified those problems in the economy, and it means that gradually, but surely, Nigeria will come out of recession from first quarter of 2017.
Yeah, I was coming to that.
What are those indications?
Yeah, I was coming to that. Now, shortly before the end of the year, for people who took a very good note of what happened, you observe that some food prices, some price of some foods began to trickle down. A very good case in point is rice. I understand that rice now hovers around, bag of rice hovers around between 18,000 or thereabout. Do not forget that it went as high as 25,000 at a point.
It did.
You know, so some of the policy pronouncement is that there are about 2 or 3 initiatives that have been put forward for agriculture as a very strategic sector of the economy. There's one program called Anchor Program, Anchor Borrowers program by the CBN, targeted at ensuring that agriculture does better than it's doing as we speak. And then you also remember that for me, one of the one of
there's a punch in that particular the grain, the rice issue. Even the Minister of Agriculture came out and alleged or complained that the issue of people taking grains out of Nigeria on a daily basis, about 500 trucks leave Nigeria to other neighboring countries, which even if the CBN is giving the money to the farmers to farm, and at the end of the day they sell this grain to other neighboring countries. So how would you be food sufficient?
It's neither here nor there. If that should not take a shine off laudability of the program, if I would say, because by the way, we are not supposed to produce what only Nigeria should consume. We should be able to earn foreign exchange from other sources apart from oil. Taiwan is a very small country that I'm not sure if they are up to the size of Lagos. I mean Taiwan, and Taiwan can produce what, in terms of rice, what the whole of Africa could consume in terms of technology. So you don't necessarily have to produce the only thing that you can. So if they think, or if the government thinks that the quantum of rice that we have at the moment is not enough to go out of the border of Nigeria, they put controls in place to ensure that the rice don't get out of the borders of Nigeria. That's one. The second thing I want to say quickly is still on the issue of rice. Is that one of my highest points of 2016 was the launching and the eventual selling of the lake rice. For me, I think other state governments should take a cue from that, because it's easier when your policy is localized. It's easier for you to monitor when the policy is for Lagos, for example. You are able. It's not open to geopolitical sentiment. Nobody is saying that it's because the president is from the south or something. Because so that way, by the time you have pockets of policies here and there, so the pressure on the center is reduced. And by the time these products get into the pool of market that we have, you'll be forced to dance to the tune of the market.
But of course, rice is not the only thing we consume. There's so many other consumables. Hopefully, government, state governments, and all the governments at the different levels.
Rice has always dictated the way other products.
Well, I guess you can say that again. All right, that's the much we can take on this segment. Thank you so much, Shina Olubu, financial analyst, for joining us this morning, looking at this.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, there's a lot more on TVC Breakfast. Stay with us.